First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone, and to include the elder bishops of Connecticut and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham, to all of the Akim that sincerely forward this truth. And once again, it's your brother Laban. And we're going to get started with this topic of discussion over here, and many more other topics, which is what I usually do. So let's begin by reading this. The silver tsunami, how the coming economic collapse will wipe out paper or wealth, and what to do now. Yeah, so as this reads here, gold and silver have been reliable money for 5,000 years. The US dollar, untethered from gold since 71, has lost 96% of its purchasing power. Its collapse is inevitable. The 37 plus trillion US debt is mathematically unpayable, leading to hyperinflation or default. The Federal Reserve 9 trillion balance sheet and BRICS nations dumping the dollar signal its coming demise. The industrial demand, solar EVs and AI will far outstrip or strip supply, possibly 5 billion ounces needed by 2030. Silver is undervalued. Gold and silver ratio versus historical 15-1, and potential 5 times, 10 times surge post reset. Hold physical gold and silver, avoid paper ETFs, diversifying into land, farmland, and off-grid assets. Join barter networks, silver coins, ammo seeds, reject CBDCs, use cash, bitcoins, and privacy tools. And I mean, like right now, gold and silver is very expensive now because, of course, the dollar is very weak. So, I mean, there's only a very few people that can afford at this present moment in time to actually buy gold and silver, which is going to, keep you afloat more effectively in this time. And as well as we all know, all of this is being done by design. Years ago, being that I'm here in the UK, about maybe 3 centuries ago, the British people were manipulated to give off their land to their government. And as well as we will speak about from time to time, wealth is basically assets that are valuable, and land is a part of that. Gold and silver is a part of that. You have actual valuable goods that is needed by people. So right now, all of those things have been taken from us because, throughout the process of time, they've manipulated us to give away these things. There was a time when the American people and just people all over the world in the early days, they would exchange and use as their barter system gold and silver. So somehow, some way, people gave up these things, and now all of a sudden we got to rely on this fiat currency, this fake currency that has no valuability to it. And the only valuability that is given to it is based on your own level of confidence, which determines the valuability of it. Hence is why it's called credits. Right? So it actually isn't real. So, okay, you may have a £5 note or a £20 note, but it actually doesn't weigh what it says. It's just a piece of paper which says it. So all you got to do is believe in those words, and there goes the valuability of that currency. It's the same thing with the dollar, which the term dollar means, I believe the term dollar means a measurement. And it's not measured at $5. It's just a fake currency. And this is the reason why the powers that be, which control the money supply, going all the way back to the Rothschild family, the central bankers, they've been able to actually manipulate the currency because they own the currency. They've formulated this currency so that they can give this currency for you to rely on. So the more they deduct the currency is the more indebted to this currency you are to. And this is the reason why now people Because what I come to realize a while back ago is that average people are just average by nature. People don't want excessively. Most people don't want to be excessively rich. That's only a very few people that may have the mindset to want that kind of lifestyle. But most people, if you give people the basic necessities, people are okay. But because we live in a world now where inflation is kicking everybody's ass, everybody wants way more than usual, just so that they can keep their head above water, because the currency is dying. So when you have a deduction of the currency, you have expenses. Everything becomes expensive around you, and that's what you get inflation from. So this is how they're able to control us more effectively and make us more slaves. And as well as the money is basically pretty much the blood of the people. And that's why, if I'm correct, one of the Rothschilds said that I care not who sits on the throne. What I'll do is I'll put the what he said. I'll put the slogan on post production so you can see for yourself what he said. But he said something along the lines of that whoso owns the money supply owns the country, something along those lines. But like I said, I'll put it on post production so you can see what he said. So that's just where it's at right now, and this is the reason why they're going to be able to change the currency to that of the CBDC standard, beginning with or should I say the central bankers, also known as BIS, which stands for Bank International Settlements, which goes all the way back to them. All right. And again, this is all done by design, because where they want us to get to is to a technocratic system where we're strictly relying on the grid. All right. Right along with AI, and the buying and selling is going to be based on that implantable device, the charagma. And so what I want to do is I want to show you this video here of Warren Buffett. So what I'll do is let me do this real quick. Let me take this off and let's play this video.
Owning anything that we thought was in a currency that was really going to hell. And that's the big thing we worry about with the United States currency. I mean, the tendency of a government to want to debase its currency over time there's no system that beats that. You can pick dictators, you can pick representatives, you can do anything, but the people, there will be a push toward weaker currencies. And of course, that is, I mentioned very briefly in the annual report that the fiscal policy is what scares me in the United States, because it's made the way it is, and all the motivations are doing a lot of things that can cause trouble with money. But that's not limited to the United States.
And I mean, he's not panicking. I mean, come on. Warren Buffett, he's an insider. He already knew that this was coming anyway. He already knew. I'm pretty sure he sat behind closed doors in these secret councils among these other rich folk, discussing what they're going to do in the future. Because what Esau does, they do everything in the future sense. They don't do things right off the rip currently. They do things because they've already planned it already. So this is just the right time for weaker currencies. So when we're looking at the BRICS nation, even that was all done by design to get America towards a digital dollar, if that makes any sense, and if not a digital dollar, then it's going to be something like the digital dollar. It's the same thing with the UK. They come in with a digital pound, because that's where it's all going. Every country, so-called every corporation around the world, are going to have digital currencies to rely on. because they want everybody chipped. Okay, so this is all done by design. Like, let's let's not get besides ourselves with reality here. I mean, the reality, the fact of the matter is that, you know, a man like this, Warren Buffett, he already knew. He already knows that this trend was coming anyway, you know. But he's just declaring that, you know, this is what we got to do, and et cetera, right? And he's panicking. That this nigga ain't panicking at all. That's all lies, man. I'll get to that later on. So anyway, let's read a little bit more about this over here. Yeah, so where was I at before, man? Yeah, this is where I was at. So not just doom porn, actionable steps to protect wealth. When paper assets crash, only tangible assets, gold and silver, land will preserve value. And just as well as the brother said, man, the brother GMS Awakening, I believe 144. I forgot the brother's name, but you know, he brought back to mind what the elder Apostle Hall said, that, you know, we should have all had listened to what Apostle Hall said about buying gold and silver, right? Because again, gold and silver is it keeps its value. It doesn't change. Is intrinsic, which I believe the word intrinsic means it doesn't change. Let me just look that word up just to make sure I'm correct. Intrinsic, meaning it keeps its value. I tell you what, let me look at it from an Edom standpoint. Yeah, it says, let me get rid of this. These silly ads, man, I tell you. Yeah, so the form in English was conformed to word in by 18th century, meaning belonging to the nature of a thing, is from the 1640s, related intrinsically. Yeah. So the word, Salaki, let me read this part over here. So the word intrinsic, interior, inward, internal, from Old French, intrinsic, inner. So we got that. And sick is, what is it? Which means alongside or from within. So basically, the best way I could put this is that this resource, or this element such as gold, you know, it's a natural asset. It's a natural valuable asset. Because the thing with gold, what makes gold valuable? Because there's less of it. Just like other resources, you have platinum. Platinum is one of those elements that you can't massively obtain. You know, so any you know, valuable good is valuable because there's less of it. All right. So because of that, gold will always keep its value. And there's only so much people that can afford to access gold as well. You know? So that's what keeps its value. All right. But when you look at paper and plastic, which is what we're using right now, I mean, we got that excessively in nature. So that's not a valuable, and that's not something that we have to use. We, like most people, don't have to use paper and plastic. Although when you go and buy your food from the store, you get it by these plastic bags, right? But you can use other resources to actually get your shopping. Like back in the olden times, plastic. It was stored in the storefront among many. Like for example, you want to get some apples, it was stored with the rest of the apples, and the air could get to it because it was open. All of your food, all your foods, or your vegetation was all out in the open on the storefront, without it being wrapped in plastic. So you would have a bag by yourself and go pick up the stuff that you need in the storefront, and then you would go buy like that. All right. So people didn't need to use plastic 200 years ago, 300 years ago. Or let's just even take it back 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome. In ancient Rome, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't use plastic. You know what I'm saying? So these sources are not needed to be used. So they're not that valuable. Okay, so, and even food too. Food is a necessity. That's a valuability. All right. But this plastic and paper, we don't need this stuff. So the point is that gold keeps its value because of what it is. As well as I explained already, because there's less of it. If you ever felt like the financial system is rigged against you, like no matter how hard you work, your savings are being silently stolen by inflation, corporate greed, and government mismanagement, then the silver tsunami navigating. Yeah, I don't need to read that. It's the wake-up call you need. This isn't just another doom and gloom economic forecast. It's a meticulously researched survival guide for the impending collapse of the fiat currency system and the rise of a new financial order. The book opens with a powerful reminder that gold and silver have been the bedrock of honest money for over 5,000 years. Absolutely. From the silver shekels of ancient Mesopotamia to the gold-backed currency of empires that lasted centuries. History proves that civilization thrives when money has intrinsic value and collapse when they abandon it. The Roman debased their denarius, leading to economic ruin. The U.S. severed the dollar last ties to gold in 71. Since then, the dollar has lost 96% of its purchasing power. And why that is? It's due with the fact that these nations have left the dollar in the way that they have done so, and they're no longer trading with the dollar. Like every nation were given treasuries of dollars to use, and so that keeps the dollar valuable. But when you have a treasury of dollars by the trillions, or let's just say, just make up any number, by the billions pushing into trillions, and it's not being used, then guess what? The valuability of the dollar declines because it's not, the treasuries of dollars are not being used. All right. So as this reads here, unpayable debt, the U.S. national debt has surpasses, and this is how they were able to, what's the word? They were able to sanction the world, because the world were relying on dollars at the time. But now the sanctioning thing can't work too tough, because again, you got BRICS, and you have many other nations that are joining BRICS. So when it comes down to sanctioning, they can't sanction these nations anymore because they don't depend on the dollar. The government only options default or hyperinflation, both catastrophic for ordinary citizens. Central bank manipulation, the Federal Reserve endless money printing, quantitative easing has propped up Wall Street while eroding Main Street, and the Fed's balance sheet has ballooned to $9 trillion, a ticking time bomb of artificial liquidity, global de-dollarization. Nations like China, Russia, and the BRICS alliance are dumping U.S. treasuries and stockpiling gold. Saudi Arabia now accepts oil payments in the yuan, signaling the end of the petrodollar dominance. So that's the reason why life in America is very expensive and will continue to be more expensive. Again, this is all by design. Like, these nations are not getting away from America because they're just being sanctioned. No, they've been given the command, the order to do this. All right? It's all WWE. Like, these nations, they're not doing things on their own wits. They're doing things because they've been given the command to do it. Everybody's owned and controlled by the central banks. That's why you have central banks in the thousands all around the world. Because when you got banks, now you can control every market all around the world. And then also you can control the government. Again, that's why the man said, one of the Rothschilds, he said what he said. If I care not who sits on the throne. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull that up, man, because I'm going to butcher it again. Because the point is that if you have access to the money supply of every nation, you pretty much have that nation locked, stock, and barrel. Because again, the blood of the people is the money. Was it Nathan Rothschild? I think it was Nathan Rothschild, man, who said that. Yeah, absolutely. It was Nathan Rothschild. I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. So again, if you control the money supply, you control the empire. You control the people. You control the government and the various order of that, which is of that government. And that's why the Rothschilds, they were set up to go all around the planet Earth with his 5 sons, Amschel Bauer with his 5 sons, to go all around the earth, centralizing their banks. And that way they can massively control the people. And they can determine the people's success. Who's going to be the president? Who's going to do X, Y, and Z, etc., etc. And they run the tables. Okay? So let me see if I could continue on to read a little bit more on this right here. Yeah, so the book warns when the dollar collapses, paper assets, stock, bonds, and cash will evaporate overnight. Only tangible assets, gold, silver, land, and productive businesses will retain value. Yeah, so just because you have gold and silver, this ain't going to protect you from when all hell breaks loose, because when all hell breaks loose in the time of Jacob's trouble, that's going to be the beginning of the ending of the civilization for real. And we're going to bear witness to physically seeing this. Now, we're in the end time already. But what I'm saying is when we see this put into action, Jacob's trouble, that is, gold and silver ain't going to do you any justice. But I get what the man is saying. What the man is saying is if you have actual assets of wealth, then you ain't got to worry about all of this extra stuff that's going to happen. But again, I'm brought back to mind. And that's why I say the word but. Because as it is written, he calls of all, both small and great. And I'm going to get to that. Rich and poor, free and bond. So everyone is going to have to receive that mark. And really, realistically, anyone that has some kind of land ownership, so-called, or real estate, you don't really own that because you don't have access to the allotted title, which belongs to the higher powers that be, or the plutocrats. When I say the term plutocrats, I'm talking about the rich. They're the ones that rule the land truly. They have true ownership of the land. That's who you pay your taxes to and everything. So when they set this system up, technocratically, guess what? You're going to have to go get that chip. So all of this ain't going to really matter anyway. All right. So that's all I want to read. That's all I want to read. Like I said, there's a reason why they're deducting the dollar the way that they've been deducting it since 2008, as well as I can remember. and many other reasons why you have what you have to include, like the BRICS nation. And it ain't just America. I mean, like different parts around the world are being affected in different ways to get us towards a digital standard of a society. So now this leads me to my next topic here, because this man here, his name is what? Nicholas Hirscher or Holscher, I believe he's German. And this guy, he exposes the Bill Gates microneedle patch implant. All right. And without further ado, let's watch a little bit of this video, which is only but 2 minutes long, and then I'm going to speak on it.
mRNA platform, vaccine platform that they try and roll out at a wide scale. So first in 2019, Gates funded a study for the original development of these quantum dot implants. So it's a microneedle patch array. So it's got a bunch of mini needles. It's like a Band-Aid. You put it on your wrist, it dissolves, and it installs these quantum dot materials that last for at least 5 years. So they developed that in 2019. Now in 2025, Gates funded another study that shows just how advanced now this technology has become. It is advancing at a very fast pace. Now these microneedle patches can install literal quantum dot QR codes that can be read with AI with specialized cameras and decoded to store batch information, lot number, how many doses you received. There you go. They put it on the pig. That's what it looks like. It's a literal QR code. You will be marked. This lasts, again, for years, perhaps permanently. And this will be used as a biological vaccine passport system where you won't use your phone. You won't use the QR code on your phone to enter the store.
Yeah, because you will be the phone. Just like the CEO of Nokia, I believe, he mentioned that the years will come, or the days will come, and I'm roughly paraphrasing what he was saying. Instead of us using our phones, the phone is going to be under the skin, because every phone has a chip in it. So if you got the chip in you, then again, like the man just mentioned here, you don't have to use your phone to enter into the store. You don't have to use the phone to buy and where it concerns buying and selling, have you will. You don't need to type in your PIN number and type in your password manually. Manually goes out the window. There's no more manual. Everything is automatic. Hence you get the term automation. We're going to pretty much come under an automated society where everything's going to be automatic because of AI is going to take over. You know, just like they showed you that commercial when the man walked into the store, right? And he was able to pick up everything that he needed in the store and, put some of the stuff in his jacket and walk out the store. And the reason why he was able to walk out the store without having to actually go do the process of paying for his goods, because he already had the mark in him. He already had a chip in him. So all he had to do was just pick up everything he needed and walk out of that bad boy. And then the scanner would scan everything that he had. And that was it. He was good. So that's the world we coming into, man.
In travel, you will use your wrist where this material is embedded in your body. And so this is very dangerous. And this even earned a spot at the 2025 Global Vaccine Forum, where they had their own session on these microneedle patch implants. So this is planned for wide-scale deployment for another pandemic.
So there you have it. And it's going to be like, well, why would you not want to take this microneedle implant? What's wrong with it? It doesn't hurt. We're not literally injecting anything inside of you. So what's going to be wrong with it? So for you to reject something like this, that means it's going to look like you hiding something. Like you may be a very well individual that could cause a T attack or such. You may be an individual that may bring about a T attack because you hiding something. Like here it is. All you need to do is just take this stamp of approval. It's going to prick you, but you ain't going to feel it. And as well as this guy was breaking down that all of this this information, the QR code is going to be stored in your skin, as he showed you. So after you've pricked yourself, that QR system is going to be in your skin. It's going to be a part of your biology, which the term biology means the study of life. Ology, we know, which means the study of, and the word bio, which means life. It's like, for example, let's just say you have a favorite celebrity, which we don't have no favorite celebrities here. You know, when we were in the world, we did. But let's just say you read about your favorite celebrity before Wikipedia, right? You would go type in their bio, and you would read about their life and everything, where they, you know, why and how they got to where they got to, etc., etc. You know. So yeah, this implant here, because we gotta have an open mind too. Yeah, can Esau mandate something like this for us to take? Oh, absolutely. Because same way here, this is the mark. This could be considered the mark, because guess what? When you actually put this thing on your skin, it pricks your skin, and you may not even feel it. That's what I wanted to actually show you right here. So this can still be considered the karats, or the mark, karakba. So instead of us just only looking at the that little grain of rice thing as the chip, we gotta also keep an open mind, because Esau is gonna be very slick. Esau's slick any doggone way, man. Esau is what is it? As well as that's written, right? He is wiser than Daniel. What is it? The children of this world are wiser than the children of light. So we gotta have an open mind. We gotta be all around with Esau. We can't just expect this thing that looks like a grain of rice, or as the size of a grain of rice. We gotta cover all of the gaps, because even this right here, Esau can come with something like this too. You know. So I mean, anything that involves cutting into the flesh. This is Leviticus 19:28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. Absolutely. So this was a commandment to the Israelites. So in this video, he shows you that the QR code will be in your skin after this, this microneedle patch implant pricks your skin. You know? So you'll have an actual mark on you. If this is what they're going to use for the chip, then which they showed us before as the chip, that little thing that looked like a grain of rice, we're going to have to treat this as well as the same thing. Because again, anything that cuts into the flesh, that also embeds an imprint into you, is the same as the mark. You know? Revelations 13:16, he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Let's look up this word mark. We know what the saying is, but we're going to look it up anyway. The word is karakma, which means what? A stamp. And that's basically what that is. Let me go all the way back and play this part in the video again. Yeah, see, let me play this.
Any needles, it's like a band-aid. You put it on your wrist. Any needle, ray implant. So it's a marginal development. This study, first in 2019, Gates funded a study for the original development of these quantum dot implants. So it's a microneedle patch array. So it's got a bunch of mini needles. It's like a band-aid. You put it on your wrist, it dissolves, and it installs these quantum dot materials that last for at least 5 years. So they developed that in 2019. Now in 2025, Gates funded another study that shows just how advanced now this technology has become. It is advancing at a very fast pace. Now these microneedle patches can install literal quantum dot QR codes that can be read with AI with specialized cameras and decoded to store badge information as you receive
There it is right there. So that's an imprint. That's basically, you could consider that a tattoo. That's no different than a tattoo. The only difference is that it's no ink. It's light. That's the thing. But it's a tattoo. So again, we're not supposed to put any marks upon us. But this mark now is going to be permanent. It can last for 5 years, but then he also said that it could be permanent. And I believe it's going to be permanent because, again, it ties in the Bible prophecy. Everything that Esau is doing, he's doing it because prophecy is allowing him to do it. The will of the Lord is going to allow him to do it, to fulfill prophecy. All right. A stamp and imprint mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-anointed one. The mark branded upon horses, things carved, sculpted, graven work, idolatrous images. Absolutely. And yeah, that's absolutely correct. Once you take this implantable device, you have declared yourself to being against your power permanently. You know, that's a mark that really shows that you're not for the Most High. You're for this world. And now the God of this world is your idol, is your God. Okay? And that's why it reads, as a consequence, Revelations 14 and 10. The same shall drink of the wine of wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Why? Because as an Israelite man, you violated one of the first commandments. And this right here. So this is it right here. This is it right here. This is Exodus 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Right. But the point is in verse 3. All right. So again, when you take that mark, you would have had permanently violated this law forever. And so, especially the Israelites were created biologically, even though we're in the flesh, but bodily wise, our bodies brings references to the Creator. And I'm really referring to this information. All right. And you brothers, maybe some of you brothers already know what I'm talking about. Lord willing, you do. But brothers that don't know what I'm talking about, Lord willing, eventually you will when you find that information. Okay. So yeah, when you take that implantable device, your biological makeup is going to be of that of a different form outside of that, which is what the Creator have already established spiritually and as well as biologically. So that way, now it's reasonable for the Heavenly Father to just get rid of you because you're to that of a different form, not of his form. Okay. And most importantly, going back to what I was saying, you're permanently going to showcase that you've turned against your power. You decided to consider the powers that be as your God forever. All right. Because the thing with these devils, they very well believe that. Let me go back and let me see something real quick before I say anything else. Okay, yeah, you know what? Forget about that. All right, yeah. So just going forward to what I was saying here, right? Because Esau has a God complex. And they've been in power for 5 centuries already. So it's like they can't really see themselves falling apart. And now they're filled with an excessive amount of pride as a result. So they think now men are just for the sake of their own. You know, they believe that men are just here for the purpose of serving their interests only. Not to serve any other's interests, but to serve their interests. And that's the proof right there where it concerns this technological world that they're setting up. Because they truly believe now that we're just made for them. only. All right. Even so much so, the so-called blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians, the Southern and the Northern Kingdom, they believe that we belong to them. Just to simply put that, everything and everyone belongs to them. All right. But that's not the case. Everything belongs to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And I have to read this verse as well. This is Ezekiel 8. And I think it's somewhere, because I've already marked it already. Yes, verse 4. Salaki about that. Verse 4. Behold, all souls are mine as the souls of the Father. So also the souls of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. So that's the point right there. The Heavenly Father created everything in this existence, including men, and put souls in bodies, spirits in bodies that he formulated himself. So all and everything is his. All right. But Esau wants to transform life to suit his means and to call everything his instead. The Lord is going to show differently when he brings his son back here. And this leads me to reading this. Ezekiel 35 and verse 11. Therefore, as I live, save the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy. As a matter of fact, let me go up a verse. Salaki about that. This is the main right here. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, save the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, and that have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, and they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me, and I have heard them. And this ties into the book of Daniel 7, where it mentions that this horn will speak what great blasphemies or great things, which is the blasphemies against the Heavenly Father, which ties into what's written also in the book of Revelation 13. Okay, so you had three prophets that had this envision that they would speak great things against the Most High. All right, and as a result of that, as well as that's written, whatever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So Esau is going to reap the consequences of the things that he has done and the things that has come out of his lips. So now, I think that's all I got to say right here, man. With that, I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, to all, from the least to the greatest of us all, which we all hopefully believe that we're of the elect, the 144,000, and as well as the 1/3 that follows. Shalom.